In the know for Friday, October 14, the 287th day of 2022. There's 78 days left in the year. Good morning, MD. Guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station, 1039 The Moose. Live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast. On Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. We will get you ready for a big weekend in sports. Got the Cougar Sports Report coming up. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire. Is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good.
I saw you
good this morning.
I saw you at the school board meeting last night.
No.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
You were there at the Grayson County Schools school board meeting, their monthly meeting. It was held at Clarkson Elementary School last night, and there were some other famous people there, including our SOAR Citizen of the Month.
Yes.
There's one from each class, but there's Miss Alea. She was recognized last night with a group of her peers. There was one from each classroom, and so she was pleased as punch.
Oh, yes.
And she got to see her name on the sign yesterday.
Yes.
And she was thrilled. Yeah, so there's the sign. And so they scroll through the names. And anyway, it was just a nice evening in Clarkson. I'm not sure how much business they got around to because, we left after all the pomp and circumstance. And so then the school board got down to business. But I did run, Chairwoman Thomason. She saw me at the meeting and she came over and she kind of like, what in the world are you doing here? I was like, well, we have a student here. She, most people associate me with Caneyville. They think, well, you would be like at the Caneyville meeting. I'm like, well, I can go to all the meetings if I want to. But anyways, it was a good night in
One
Clarkson.
of my favorite things was when Miss Cates was explaining the SOAR award. And it kind of felt good as a parent, because when she explained the young man explained what the acronym SOAR means, she says that starts at home.
Yeah, I did like that too.
I loved that. And it feels good as a parent to know that you're maybe headed in the right direction.
Yeah, she said they don't come home. They just suddenly don't come to school and be leaders. That starts at home, and they come and be good citizens. But I do have to point out, it's SOAR.
Yes.
It's not SORE. SORE. Like I got a SOAR student. Yeah, over there in chair number 2, he's the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe. London, Budapest, Rio, Tokyo, and even Litchfield. He's Sam Gormley. And the Sparks. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, I had a wardrobe rearrangement last minute. Yankees game last night postponed to today, so I went with Yankees gear today. I'll go with UK gear tomorrow. Typically, Friday is UK day. So
I knew when I walked in there was something a little off.
Yeah, you felt like what day of the week is it? It's Friday, is it? But what New York Yankees and so anyway, I've gone with the Yankees
Guardians,
attire.
right?
No, not at all. 1 o'clock this afternoon, I think, is game time. Yeah, they postponed because of weather. So you get afternoon Major League Baseball.
They postponed it well in advance.
Yes, they knew.
What sport am I today?
Let's see.
Seattle Seahawks.
That's
lime
like
green,
a soccer
right?
color. You're wearing like a soccer.
Yeah, you look like a soccer goalie.
Yeah,
they usually wear them, or the referees.
Or you might be working on the side of the highway, directing traffic with your.
I can do it
with your
Call
bright
Chris
green.
Jesse.
That's right. Florida tops the list of states Americans are moving to. Florida, now the third most populous state. Florida gained 2 million residents in a decade. Florida is the number one state people are moving to. California is the number one state people are moving from. Other states people are moving to: Texas, Arizona, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Southeast, pretty popular. Tennessee, Georgia, also in the top 10. People are moving from California, New York, Illinois, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Louisiana, and Maryland. The funny thing that strikes me about Florida, people are rolling the dice going, I'll take the hurricanes, but I'll suffer the hurricane stuff, but I want to go to Florida because whatever your calculus is, Disney World or whatever it might be. So there you go. Here's today's look into the weekend weather. Windy afternoon today with continued elevated grass and wildfire danger. Going to see a continued red flag warning this afternoon because of increased wind speeds. Around 25 to 35 are your gusts. So, again, not supposed to be burning anything within...
But LFD posted, I saw them post on social media that they helped Breckenridge County yesterday respond to a fire like that because of this. So they kind of
So you shouldn't be burning anything before 6 p.m. anyway. But I don't even think it's a good idea for evening fires right now just because of the way that the wind is, and it's just so dry. I mean, this time, so it's the wind and just it's a tinderbox. We'll see. A high of 72 today, partly cloudy, 53 tonight, mostly sunny, and 67 is what you can look for tomorrow. 3 days ago, it looked like there was a good chance we might get a little rain on the Twin Lakes Marching Classic for tomorrow, but now I pretty much know it's going to be dry and smooth sailing throughout that. But it was
the Bells were a little worried.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little worried too, thinking, well, this thing's not near as much fun in the gym, but looks like it's going to be smooth sailing.
Eat a pork chop for us.
I will. You eat a Chick-fil-A sandwich for me.
I think I'd rather have the pork chop.
Maybe. There have been kind of big national events this week involving some courtrooms, like the Parkland school shooter has been spared from execution. That was announced yesterday. He killed 17 people in the school in Parkland Elementary. He will not be executed. Alex Jones had that big trial this week, or the big verdict in the payments. He had the January 6th thing yesterday that I didn't pay any attention to. The January 6th committee kind of lost my interest when they waited so long between hearings, So now it's like, okay, yeah, they want to hear from Trump. Of course they do. I mean, who doesn't? But anyway, so kind of some big things happening nationally. Close to home, though, a Litchfield man was arrested Wednesday afternoon after fighting with police trying to serve a warrant for a vicious assault. The suspect is accused of committing on Wednesday morning. The Litchfield Police Department initially responded at approximately 7:20 Wednesday morning to the 400 block of South Main, where a male was seen suffering serious injuries, including a possible broken arm. The victim was transported to Owensboro Health by Grayson County EMS. An investigation and a search warrant at the scene of the assault evidence supported an intentional act of violence that had taken place at 517 Levette Avenue. The assault, police said, began inside that residence as the victim attempted to flee. The suspect pursued him into the front yard. That continued. An arrest warrant was then issued for the assault suspect, a 35-year-old Russell Krawwinkle, which is not a last name that I have heard very much ever. They spent several hours attempting to locate Krawwinkle, who eluded authorities by hiding in a wooded area near the Levette Avenue residence, was found about 3:30 Wednesday afternoon, fought, said, I'm not going, and finally brought under control, arrested, lodged, and who knows from here. The death toll from historic flooding that swamped portions of eastern Kentucky this summer has risen to 43, according to Governor Beshear. The latest 2 deaths were caused by, quote, health conditions directly arising from the flooding. That's what the governor said in his conference yesterday. He didn't provide additional details about the deaths, which he said were reported from Letcher and Breathitt counties. While we were gone last week, they found one of the missing women that had been missing for so long, and so now we're down to, I think, just one.
Correct. Yeah.
One woman who still remains missing since those floodwaters hit in late July. The governor is also this kind of happened while we were gone. The president decided he was going to executive order and basically pardon anyone who had a simple marijuana possession charge. Now, I didn't spend a whole lot of time on that. I thought, well, that's kind of a non-starter. It sounds good, I guess, to people that might have that blemish on their record. Does it change much? Well, probably not, because in my mind, whatever penalties you were going to suffer as a result of a simple marijuana possession charge, you long since served whatever the penalties were or suffered the black eye, public. You say, oh, you were guilty of this. Here's your punishment. The scorn, the scrutiny, whatever, that's long since. So just pardoning for it, I don't know that has any actual change other than you say, well, I've been pardoned of that and it's no longer on my record. Well, I didn't really consider the next thing would happen was that governors would have to consider, do they do that at the state level? So the governor is now considering, he's at least asked for a number. He's seeking, he wants the AOC to give him a number on how many Kentuckians could be eligible for state pardons for marijuana possession only convictions. The request comes as Beshear continues weighing his options on another marijuana-related topic, what executive actions he might be able to take regarding access to medical marijuana in Kentucky. So it's part of a bigger, complex issue. So I don't know. I guess I would be curious. We see a lot of headlines. We see a lot of news stories. We see a lot of arrests. We see a lot of booking photos. I don't know the last time that I saw a news story where a person was arrested simply for possession of marijuana.
A lot of it, too, is just the choice sometimes of their bigger stories to cover.
I think that's right. I think you're absolutely right. But my guess is that a possession of marijuana charge rarely, in the last decade, rarely would be the singular charge against someone. Right?
Yeah. I would have to look at statistics on all of that. I mean, it's not unheard of. But
I like the governor. And well, I think law enforcement in a way, well, here's what I thought of this morning. When you go to different states now and you're sitting in traffic, or you go to different states and you walk down the street, all of a sudden you're assaulted by smells that historically you would have turned and said, who's breaking the law? Mm-hmm. And people have become just so brazen, like the generation younger, like the generation below us are just out there
now.
like,
hey now.
I'm smoking it up, and what are you going to do about it?
Well, I mean, we walked into good old K. Roger Field on Saturday, and Ken Hallett and I both looked at one another and said, well, okay.
That's exactly right.
I mean, it's everywhere that we've traveled.
Where we stayed last week, our neighbors, right? It was obvious. All you had to do was walk past them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you would go, whoa.
I mean,
and so this is my thing is that you're sort of undoing. I don't know what the end game is here, but I will tell you that this generation of young people, the 20-somethings, excluding Sam, but a bunch of them have just decided, you can't do anything. If we all do it, you can't arrest and cite us all. So enough of us are just going to do it and say, tough if you don't like it.
As Ryan Lemon on KSR says, the marijuana train is coming, and you better just get ready for it.
Well, so I guess when I go, well, what are we actually doing here by pardoning these or just wiping them from people's records?
It's just opening up that door.
I agree. But here's what I'm saying is, are employers looking at doing background checks on a person now and going, "No, you got a possession of marijuana charge. I'm sorry, but I can't hire you." In the same way, long ago, that employers stopped being able to say, "If you have visible tattoos, you can't work for me," because then it became like, well, we can't hire anybody because everybody's got a visible tattoo. So these these norms are changing to the point where, okay, are we just wiping the record clean from everyone? It seems like we are. I don't know, but I am curious. Just like the governor, I'd like to know how many people this impacts, because it obviously has to be thousands, but it wouldn't be millions. And how long do we go back? Somebody that had a possession charge from 50 years ago? Are we going to go like with a pencil eraser and go, it's no longer, I have way more questions than I have answers.
Well, and maybe, possession, like how much, like what kind of weight? You know what I mean? Like how much were you packing?
They have limits on once you hit a certain amount of weight, you're charged with trafficking.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know what the KRS
and then
is
if
on
you
that.
have like things with you, like little baggies or whatever, then that turns into another charge of like intent,
Right.
Like intent
that
to
would be
sell
probably
or,
trafficking and all of that.
Have you been sitting in traffic though? If you just like sit
get
in
the sheriff
traffic
on the line.
and you see just like I sit and they're not all using marijuana or cannabis, but like I'm in traffic and I see, is your exhaust pipe in your?
It
in
looks
your
like a
cabin?
choo-choo train.
Like, are you a locomotive? The billowing that
The
comes
vape
out of
pens.
vehicles, I think. What in the world?
Yeah, when we were on vacation and I went out with the girls one day, just sitting at a stoplight, it was like, whoa. it was just
I just saw Yukon's comment about bad tattoos. You just wait, Yukon. I got a bad tattoo story coming for you in just a moment.
maybe I might come in on Tuesday.
The Supreme Court yesterday delved into another legal fight between the state's governor and legislature, whether individual lawmakers are shielded from being named as defendants when the executive branch sues to challenge legislative actions. The question is an outgrowth of Governor Beshear's court battle against the GOP-backed legislation limiting his emergency powers during the pandemic. The governor named Senate President Bob Stivers and House Speaker David Osborne as defendants in the lawsuit. The top two legislative leaders filed a motion to be dismissed from the suit, arguing they were covered by immunity as legislators. A Franklin County Circuit judge denied their motion. Then Stivers and Osborne appealed ultimately to the case at the state's highest court. Both sides presented their arguments yesterday. An attorney for the lawmakers said the state's constitution unambiguously protects members of this legislature from being attacked in court for the bills that they enact. Of course, then it was argued the other side. I am for immunity to an extent. It can't be so egregious that you go, we're just going to pass legislation however we want, let the chips fall where they may. You can't do anything about it. But I think the standard needs to be very high on being able to penetrate that immunity. And does this reach the level? Probably not. You would have to.
How do you define that, though?
Yeah, you would have to thread. Unfortunately, the courts are going to decide, and you'd have to thread the needle on that standard. So, kind of reverting back to our conversation a moment ago about choices that we're making, and now that Dennis's Yukon Cornelius is talking about bad tattoo choices. We've seen some bad tattoo choices. Yes, no regrets. Yeah. Like if you're gonna get a tattoo, at least spell it right. Tattoo placement.
Know what your Chinese character says.
Interesting.
Right?
Yes, yeah. Know what your Chinese character says. I'm an idiot. That's probably what some of them are, and I think tattoo artists do that intentionally to some people. Oh yeah, you act like a butthead. Okay, well I'll show you what your Chinese symbol says. I also do like what Rick Burgess said recently. He said, if you want to be unique, it used to be in the old days, if you wanted to stand out and be unique, you said, I want to get a tattoo, right? It's gonna be my calling card. I'm gonna show people who I am as an individual. I got a tattoo. I want you to see it. Now it's the people who don't have visible tattoos that stand out. It's the people that aren't marked up, and you go, well, you're an odd duck. You don't have visible tattoos. Then you have these people that decide, I'm leading with my tattoo. My tattoo is going to announce who I am as a person, and there's no way you can avoid it. And I'd like to introduce you to James Sutton. He is recognized by his bizarre forehead beast tattoo. He was tracked down in a home in New South Wales, Australia this week. The suspect updated his Facebook profile earlier this week to a selfie in which the lower half of his face is covered. But Sutton's arrest came after Murray River Police District were mocked for asking the public's help to find the man with the distinctive face tattoos. They're like, have you seen this man? So to describe it,
it's an inverted tattoo. The word beast is actually his actual skin
right.
tone.
He has a beast tattoo, but it is in an artistic world. Would we call that in relief when it's in opposite? Your inverted is correct, but I think the artistic term is in relief. So his face is black tattoo, but they didn't tattoo the word beast, so his skin actually shines through in relief. But he's got all these. But
I didn't do well in art class, so I'm not sure.
Should we suggest this for UConn, Cornelius?
I mean, here's the thing. I've never seen him without the beard, so I don't know that it's not under the beard. Maybe that's why he grows the beard.
Maybe instead of beast, he just says beard. But also, UConn has more forehead to work with. He has a bigger canvas that he can go up this direction.
Yeah.
But you do have to admit this is funny. Like police going,
Cook Ranch shaved ice.
We can't find this guy with the one-of-a-kind tattoo, right?
Like, he's hiding underground somewhere.
Maybe he's hiding in a building on Lovett Avenue. I don't know. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Cougar Sports Report on the way. You're on In the Know.
Hi, I'm Mark Marsh, President and CEO of Owensboro Health. You know, Owensboro Health has been serving the healthcare needs of this region for over 120 years, and the medical and support staff who provide that care are, in fact, your neighbors, your friends, and family, which is why they are so passionate about the care they provide. When you have over 5,000 team members united on a mission to transform healthcare, great things happen. We want to keep you healthy. We want to make you proud.
Homeowners, especially on the lake, have most likely experienced or will experience water erosion on their properties. There is a solution and preventative measures that can protect against this type of erosion. With the help of products and service from Scotty's Contracting and Stone, Crushed Rock Road Enhancements can provide erosion control and shoreline protection. Well-designed and maintained erosion control helps ensure that today's beautiful and safe landscapes remain so tomorrow. To discuss erosion control and shoreline restoration solutions with Scotty's Contracting, call 270-259-5696.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start October 17th. Call 270-259-1540 or visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, college for the real world.
I'm Dr. Isaac Miller. My dad taught me many lessons. I learned to appreciate hard work by watching him work his way up at Warren Rural Electric. He taught me to be honest and stand up for myself. He taught me the importance of family and service to our community. My dad will bring these values and so much more to the mayor's office. Vote for my dad, Harold Miller, to be the next mayor of Litchfield.
Paid for by Harold Miller.
Your health is important to you, so when you find yourself face to face with sickness, your main concern is simply how to feel better. Well, rest assured, your feel better starts right here at Midway Pharmacy. It begins the moment you walk through our doors, where you're greeted by our friendly, knowledgeable staff, and continues on with special services like free delivery. So whether your goal is to maintain a healthy lifestyle or to overcome that untimely sickness, remember,
your feel better starts here
at Midway Pharmacy.
My name is Scott Strauss. On 9/11, I was a New York City police officer assigned to finding survivors buried under the rubble at Ground Zero. Those were very difficult days for me, but what kept me going was seeing the way so many Americans joined together in unity. It didn't matter if you were a Democrat or Republican, who you voted for, or anything else. We were all in it together. For 9/11 this year, please help me rekindle that spirit of unity through your kindness and good deeds. Visit 911day.org to find out what you can do. Thank you.
Truth Social has been approved for the Google Play Store. Google confirmed on Wednesday that the right-wing social media app backed by former President Donald Trump will now be downloadable to Android smartphones through its App Store. The app was approved after it implemented policies against hate speech and content that incites violence. Truth Social's user policy says content that encourages violence may result in that content being removed from the platform. The richest man in the world is now selling perfume, but he isn't calling the scent Musk. Tesla, SpaceX, and Boring Company CEO Elon Musk is marketing a perfume called Burnt Hair. Musk announced on Tuesday that it's available on his tunnel drilling company's website for $100 a bottle. By Wednesday, sales had reportedly topped $1 million. Musk has updated his Twitter bio to include perfume salesman and tweeted, "With a name like mine, getting into the fragrance business was inevitable. Why did I even fight it for so long?" And Twitter says Musk is currently being investigated by the feds for his conduct in the acquisition of Twitter. Tech Report, Mark.
Today is Bald and Free Day. Finally, my ship has come in.
Well, so the day that you were not here, he did the news story about the sexiest bald men. So that was Wednesday, I guess.
Did you all award me that
The
while I
hottest
was gone?
No,
Did I get
sorry,
the award?
it was
in absentia?
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel one.
Yeah.
And The Rock was number 5
No, he was lower than that. He was like number 7 or 8.
Are you
yeah,
sure?
yeah,
Really?
yeah. Stanley Tucci was number 2.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it. Dessert day today. Make sure you have dessert. Maybe some good parlor donuts.
Oh, Lordy.
And today is Frump Day. So, Frump is an odd term because I couldn't describe someone who is frumpy, but if I see someone, I can tell you they are or not frumpy.
You know it when you see it.
Yeah.
Well, so for me, those new dresses that they're bringing back that look like Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy them at Target.
Okay.
Yeah, that is frumpy. I'm sorry. Don't do it.
This is a new word.
Just
You've never
say
heard
no.
frumpy? Oh, well, to describe someone, they're frumpy. Like, well, yeah, but what does frumpy mean? frumpy.
I do
Well,
not.
I
will
can't
find
give you.
you a photo of somebody that is frumpy.
All right. So, Frump Day is a day to be frugal, responsible, unpretentious, and mature person. Well, that's not necessarily the litmus for I look at someone and say they're frumpy or not. Tomorrow is Global Hand Washing Day. Tomorrow is Grouch Day. Tomorrow is Mushroom Day. Sunday is Dictionary Day. So plan accordingly. Family game of Scrabble or something like that. We are headed into another week. I guess this is technically week 8 of the high school football season. It'll be the 8th game of the season.
So technically, it's actually would be week 9.
Yeah, it'd be week 9 because of our bye week. So, but is the 8th game of the season. But the Cougars will hit the road and face off to Ohio County, 2 programs that have played each other for many, many years in football. And you would think there would be some similarities between these schools. They're of similar size, communities of a similar size. But we'll have the locker room show tonight. I guess 6:30, kick is at 7. How many times have these teams met, Sam?
35, and it's been really close as far as the all-time series. Ohio County leads at 18-16. Cougars won 2 straight, 3 of the last 4 as well. So it's been a series I don't want to say dominated recently by the Cougars, but they've had the Eagles number in recent years. But there was a stretch where Ohio County in that 2000s range really did well.
Yeah, I remember, I don't know if you recall this story or not, but I remember it was roaming the sideline in Hartford, the visitor sideline in Hartford several years ago. It's been a long time ago now, but I remember having the epiphany. I think it's time for me to do something else. I was in Ohio County we were suffering a miserable loss in football. And just to be quite honest with you, I was spending much too much time doing that and not enough time with my daughter. And I said, there's a better use of my time than to cover this misery. And so I just now remembered that it happened at Ohio County. So
luckily it's flipped in
yes,
recent years.
It has flipped tremendously. But before we get too much about Ohio County, let's kind of talk about the last outing for Grayson County. They've had the week off.
Yeah.
They took the bye week was last week, lined up with fall break. They played on Thursday the week before, shut out Breckenridge County. And so it was nice to get a win in the win column. What was your takeaway from the Breck County game?
Oh gosh, it's been so long ago. It's 36-0 was the win. Cougars. It was kind of a slow start to the second half. I know that was the big takeaway. Defense played well. Offense had success moving the football, and I think the offense really started to roll. And I think that's kind of the worry here today. Is that I know Kaler was talking about it as well. That it's always about when the bye week comes. And he had mentioned that last season it came at the absolute perfect time because things were kind of struggling and they just needed a break. But the offense, he says, when the offense is rolling, you do not want the bye week to come. And the bye week came when the offense was looking the best. So I think that's kind of the worry. Ohio County, though, they are not coming in off of a bye. They played last week against Marion County. They won 38-20. So it's kind of you run into this like Cougars are well rested, but is that a good thing?
Cougars were also, so if you say, okay, last year 52-7 in the favor of the Cougars, but the Cougars are not the offensive juggernaut this year that they were last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, but Hunter Felty started that game at quarterback last year as well, so you're seeing a similar offense. Some of the wide receivers are different,
but they're just not putting up the same level. They're just not as dominant on offense, I think, as you've seen them be in previous years. And Ohio County obviously scored 38 points last week. So I expect a ball game tonight.
It should be a good game. I'm hopeful for a good game. Good games for us at least makes it a lot more entertaining. Sometimes the blowouts get a little, depending on either side. Even if Grayson County wins by a lot, it's not quite as fun. Hunter Felty, the Cougars starting quarterback, 63 of 105 for 718 yards and 6 touchdowns. He rushed for 271 yards and 4 touchdowns, but that rushing attack for him has gotten a lot stronger over the last 2 weeks. Jaron Van Meter, threat multiple ways. Out of the backfield, 360 yards rushing, 131 receiving yards, 7 total touchdowns.
I was at the KBA event 2 weeks ago, and somebody pulled me aside and said, "Do you know Jaron Van Meter?" I was like, "Cougar standout, Jaron Van Meter? Of course I do." So it was a distant relative of his, I thought.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
So,
I didn't get the chance to talk with this person.
His name was Charlie, as a matter of fact. So the Cougar defense has obviously you get a shutout against Breck County. You're doing something right. Cougar defense playing a little better.
They are playing a little better over the past couple of weeks. Now, again, it's always about opponents and so on. You can read into that, but as they always say, defense travels when you go on the road. And that's the biggest thing is that to slow down an Ohio County team that is really talented, and we can talk about them in a moment, but the biggest thing with the Cougars tonight is you control your own destiny. You win tonight, you're in the playoffs.
Win and you're in?
You win and you're in.
Okay.
And now there is some potential you still getting a number 2 seed, but probably not. If you win, you're the 3 seed, is pretty much what it is. There is still the opportunity for the 2 seed, but you'd have to maybe beat Owensboro next week, and that might not be the easiest challenge in the world, but we don't have to talk about that. Yeah.
Cougars are struggling, not struggling, but Cougars are trying to get back to 500 and even keel through their 8th game tonight. The Eagles, however, are still sub 500, and no matter what happens tonight, won't be back at 500. They are looking for their 3rd win of the season. They're 2-5 coming in. What do we need to know about Ohio County? I assume Jake Simmons is a name we'll hear a lot tonight.
Yeah, but the name you're really going to need to know is Matthew Smith. He's their running back, do it all back, 704 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns. He's also passed for 97 yards. He's one of those guys that Ohio County is just going to find ways to get the ball into his hands. And then the other guy that you're definitely going to need to know is Jalen Walker. Okay. He'll be in the backfield, and he'll also be a receiver over 500 all-purpose yards, and it's pretty much split down the middle. But I think Ohio County, and I'm going off the top of my mind, so it's probably going to be incorrect, but I think they've completed like 16 passes this season, so they don't pass a lot, but I think 12 of the catches have gone to Jalen Walker. So Walker is far and away the top receiving candidate.
We're in this weird portion of fall sports where some are still going strong, some have wrapped up. Football obviously got a couple more weeks to go before the playoffs. While the volleyball team did lose at Meade County earlier this week, but they're all set up and ready to go into the postseason, as the Lady Cougars will host the 12th District Tournament at Grayson County High School next week, and you have coverage, yes?
We do. Every game we're going to be broadcasting, whether Grayson County's involved or not. We're going to be doing it as it starts on Monday. First game, Whitesville Trinity against Butler County at 5:30 p.m., and then Grayson County against Edmondson County coming up at 7:30 p.m. That'll be on Monday, and then the championship game the next day. Hopefully the Lady Cougars can make it that far, but if they do not, we'll still have the broadcast of the championship game on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So you get 3 games, all via K105 Digital Productions. It should be exciting tournament. I mean, Whitesville Trinity's a really good team. Butler County, I know, has improved a lot since we saw them. Gosh, I think it was the first or second week of the season. And then obviously Grayson County, Edmondson County, it doesn't matter. When those two teams match up, it doesn't matter. You know, you're going to get a great match no matter what.
I would recommend to your friends and neighbors from the neighboring communities, if you know people at Edmondson or Butler or Whitesville, have them like the K105 YouTube channel.
Yeah, subscribe.
If you just go and subscribe to the K105 YouTube channel, it's obviously free. But if you will subscribe to it, then you'll get notified when your game, like when Whitesville Trinity or Butler County go live, then your neighbors that are fans of those schools will get notified that it's live, and they will be able to just click and get to the game. So that's coming up coverage next week. Lady Cougars soccer. I know soccer is moving into the postseason as well. Lost to Muhlenberg County in the 3rd region quarterfinal, so I guess they wrap up.
Yeah, both Cougars, both the boys and the girls, both lost to Muhlenberg County in the 3rd region quarterfinals. They both lost to Meade County in the 12th District Championship. So, I mean, it's good seasons for the both of them. And they get to move into, I know that they got a lot of younger players, and hoping that they can continue to improve over the next couple of seasons.
For cross country, I noticed Nash, Brooks, and Kroom, that trio, were pretty well last night.
Yeah, they ran at the Ruff Nolan Conference on campus there at Grayson County High School at the home course, which is my first time really exploring that. It's an interesting course.
Did you get out and run the course?
We had to run a little bit of it because we'll have a little bit more on that here in a few minutes as to why.
Yeah.
But it was a windy evening. I know that the head official was talking to me before she started, and apparently she came all the way from Lake Barkley. That's a little bit of a drive, and she said, "When I left Lake Barkley, it wasn't this cold."
So we have to get cross country officials from Lake Barkley.
That's apparently where she said she came out. Maybe she was just visiting Lake Barkley, and that's where she came from. But
is it that hard to adjudicate cross country? I don't.
Well, she went over the rules and everything. It was, and she had the gun.
The rules are there ain't no rules. Winter sports practice starts today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow,
the 15th.
Tomorrow, so it starts on the 15th. Winter sports are allowed to practice. I know both the Coach Johnsons have pretty much given me their schedules. I think we're looking at the 29th, I think, of November, whatever that Tuesday is, as the first game. I think, you know what, let's just make the trip north and have a doubleheader against the Fighting Tigers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just to open up the year, which will be here before we know it.
That'll be big to start. Cougar Conversations tonight at halftime?
Yeah, we're going to talk cross country. How about that? And we talked to Peyton Nash, and it really wasn't planned, but we find out where he committed to go to college. As he told us he did it last week. I wasn't aware of it, so I'm not going to spoil it. So you'll get to find out.
Tune in tonight and find out.
It was kind of a unplanned commitment. So
is he going to Forrest Gump University where they excel in running?
He is not going to Forrest Gump.
No particular run.
But I know that for members of the community, even if you don't know Peyton, you're going to be very happy to hear. He's going Division I.
Oh,
so that's good.
Yeah,
so it'll be good to hear. So make sure you listen tonight at halftime of the game. You'll be able to hear some Cougar Conversations and hear from Peyton, learning a lot about cross country too. I find it. I give them so much respect.
So a lot of coverage in the next 8 days. You got the game tonight at Ohio County, and then you got all the volleyball games next week, and then you'll have the Cougar game next Friday night. What else? Anything else to throw in there that we need to know about?
You just got that district tournament. Make sure to watch it. And again, like you had mentioned too, if you are listening and you know somebody on, Edmondson County, Butler County, Whitesville, Trinity, let them know that we're going to be doing all of the games, even if Grayson County is not involved. If Edmondson County beats the Lady Cougars, we will have the district championship game still on Tuesday.
All right, sounds very good. And then the Cats will host number 7 back in the lineup, hopefully for the entire game tomorrow, as Mississippi State comes to town for an SEC showdown. The number 16 Bulldogs, the number 22 Kentucky Wildcats, And the Cats. This is a season maker or breaker for the Cats tomorrow night.
It is.
They go down 3 games in the SEC. And figure it's absolutely over. So anyway, we'll have coverage of that game for you tomorrow as well. Gonna get to a break. We'll come back. Got plenty more on the way. Weekend movie premieres. Got a bunch of stuff coming up. Hang around here on In the Know.
Successful small business owners know that having an ally in decoding the data of your business performance is vital. A trusted source that can interpret financial reports, advise on tax code, and assess overall performance can be the difference between sleepless nights and peace of mind. The certified public accounting firm of Buckles, Travis & Hart is your ally in making sure your business is performing at an optimum level. Call or contact today to find out how Buckles, Travis & Hart can help fine-tune your business to create peak performance. 270-259-5604. GraysonCPAs.com.
For happy Halloween weekends, I'm gonna be a soaring Thunderbird.
I'll be a real bird, the Raven, flying through the woods and over the water.
I'm feeling like a pilgrim on the voyage, going over one of the world's steepest drops.
Huh, guess I'm a mind reader. I already bought our Holiday World tickets.
Wow! Yeah!
Woo! Be whatever you want at Holiday World each weekend through October. Do a corn maze, walk through the Scare B&B, and go trick-or-treating. Get tickets at holidayworld.com.
Cougar Sports is officially underway, and T-Shirt Express, the bright pink building on the square, has you covered. Parents, students, and fans of Cougar Sports, choir, and band will find a variety of selections to cheer the Cougars on. T-Shirt Express also offers laser engraving, embroidery, memorial items, and they welcome all design ideas. T-Shirt Express, the bright pink building on the square for all of your Cougar and personalization needs.
Down, set, 8, 1, 1, 8, 1, 1.
The best football teams always get the call right, and you need to make the right call before you excavate. If you don't and you damage a natural gas line, the Kentucky Public Service Commission will investigate, and you could be fined up to $1,250. So make the right call. Put safety first. Call 811 before you dig.
Touchdown! Oh my goodness!
This message brought to you by the Kentucky Public Service Commission.
Here's a simple truth about higher education.
If pursuing your purpose, doing what you really care about matters.
If having a rewarding career matters.
If a better financial future for you and your family matters.
Then higher education matters. From 6-week certificates to 2- or 4-year degrees. There's an option for you. A brighter future is within your reach. Find out how at kyhigheredmatters.org. Brought to you by this station and the Kentucky Broadcasters Association.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. A red flag warning remains in effect for today due to the elevated fire danger across the region. Dry conditions, gusty winds near 35 miles per hour can certainly cause some issues with any sort of spark. Otherwise, we're talking about plenty of sunshine for today with highs near 70 degrees. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrews.
Now watch me whip. Now watch me nay-nay. Okay. Now watch me whip, whip. Watch me nay-nay.
Did you know
Watch me nay-nay.
the top speed of a chicken at full gallop is 9 miles per hour?
Of a chicken?
Top speed of a
Yeah.
chicken at full gallop,
Well, they
9
had-
miles an hour.
I can see that.
They had the conversation on KSR last week of who would win in a fight, a chicken or a rabbit. They all went chicken.
Listen.
Yeah, I think chicken.
I've been chased by a mama chicken. I went to play with her babies, her chicks.
Yeah.
Ooh.
She
Not
do.
only did I get chased, she caught me and she flogged the snot out of me.
She did Mach 9, not
Yes.
just 9 miles per hour. The weekend movie premieres this weekend if you're headed out to the cinema. After 45 years, the most revered horror franchise in film history reaches its terrifying conclusion as Laurie Strode faces off for the last time against the embodiment of evil, Michael Myers, in a final confrontation. Halloween Ends is in theaters today. Jamie Lee Curtis, Kyle Richards, and Andy Matichak.
I will watch this when it's out of theaters. Just because I've watched them all.
I'm calling hogwash on It's the Final One.
I don't know.
Because Halloween. So Halloween ends, and then in 2 years it'll be Halloween ends. But wait, there's more.
I don't know. I don't know how much more they can do with that one.
I kind of thought they were finished 42 years ago. I mean,
Jamie Lee Curtis is getting up there too.
I think this will be, but I will watch.
Is Jamie Lee Curtis going to be on a hover round in this one? She's running for Michael. George Costanza jazzy race.
I mean, it could happen if they go back to the old hospital. A jazzy would make sense for a hover round.
And then the other movie is Tar, capital T, capital A, capital R, as the groundbreaking conductor of a major German orchestra prepares both a book launch and a much anticipated live performance. Her life begins to unravel in a singularly modern way. Kate Blanchett and Nina Hoss. That's a funny name for a woman. What's your name? Hoss.
Listen, I think I would.
Nina Hoss.
I think I would change my last name.
Well, and so many actors, they have, stage names. So if she chose that one, then, good for her. I'm going to stand out. I'm going to be
Hoss.
Considered a Hoss. The new American Music Award nominations are out. The Artists of the Year candidates are Adele, Bad Bunny, Beyonce, Drake, Harry Styles, Taylor Swift, and The Weeknd. Usual suspects. New Artist of the Year, though, I thought was funny. Dove Cameron, Gayle, Lotto, Måneskin, and Steve Lacy. I only know Måneskin. This is the Maneskin.
You know Lotto, right?
I do. Latto. No, I don't know.
Okay.
What would I know Lotto from? Is it a rap artist or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that.
I'm trying to see if I might
She's
even know
on
this.
Yeah.
Favorite male pop artist: Bad Bunny, Drake, Ed Sheeran, Harry Styles, The Weeknd. Favorite female artist: Adele, Beyonce, Doja Cat, Lizzo, Taylor Swift. No Dua Lipa this year, darn it. And favorite pop duo or group: BTS, Coldplay, Imagine Dragons, Måneskin, or One Republic. So that's Khloe Kardashian is being mocked by fans for misusing internet slang. Well, if one can misuse internet slang, I would be one of them. So let the mocking begin. But she said something she said, "Who wants to moots me?" Well, this is a new one. I never heard of moots before this morning.
Like hoots with an M?
Except for your grandfather, moots.
My pa.
I know your pa, moots. But as when it comes to moots and internet slang, I don't know what that is. But a social media user replied, "Moots is to follow back and actively engage with each other." Then in response to the new information, she wrote, "See, actively engaging is just too much of a commitment, but I really like the word moots." So I'm just tipping you off that if you hear somebody using the word moots and you're not in Sunfish, then you could be,
for real.
internet slang.
I can't keep track of it all.
Nor can I.
Tell you, that's one thing with Cook, Alex Cook. He likes to throw in some of that slang sometimes, and I'm like, Alex, I'm an old man. You got to remember that.
Yeah, just type in full sentences.
No. It's in person that he'll drop them to me.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, kid, I need a dictionary.
I just caught up to Glow Up recently.
I don't even know what is that.
Mid is Alex's favorite.
Mid,
yeah.
But that one kid on Big Brother though, I learned some slang. Bussin'.
Oh yeah, I think that
disgusting and
you saying bussin' is actually.
Is that cool?
No, it's making me.
Was it Trevor? No, what was his name?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Frenchie, right? That's the only one I know.
Julia Roberts. Frenchie is a long time ago, right?
I know, that's the only name I know though.
Because
I knew it was her favorite character, right?
Julia Roberts, secret to a successful marriage: lots of making out.
Confused.
Like, well, good. You go get it, Julia. Secret to a successful marriage: lots of making out. All right. Thanks for the tip, Julia. I appreciate it. She's been married to a guy. I saw her on some feature that she did a couple of weeks ago. And then we are learning that the last movie screen appearance of Angela Lansbury will be in a cameo role in something called Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. It was her last appearance on film, and so we will get that in I'm not sure when it will be coming out. I mean, she passed on Tuesday, so look out for Glass Onion, Knives Out Mystery. I know a lot of people love her for Murder, She Wrote, but she'll always be Mrs. Potts to me. I mean, from Beauty and the Beast. So, got to get to a break. We'll come back. Today's Point to Ponder is interesting. I'd like your feedback. We'll have that coming up here on In the Know.
Albert Einstein once said, "Only two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity." And I'm not sure about the universe. Einstein's pessimism about humanity was well-founded. We see ourselves as sophisticated, intelligent, and basically good at heart. And yet the history of the world is a devastating indictment to the contrary. Humanity's potential for brutality and evil is astonishing. Secular thinkers explain our potential for evil as some ancient evolutionary mechanism we can't shake. In their logic, we're evolving toward ever greater enlightenment, but our inner caveman keeps pulling us backward. Faith traditions see the problem differently. We're created in the divine image. We're made for beauty, for love, and for all things good and right. But we're broken. We're like a Rolls Royce that's out of alignment, so it pulls toward the ditch. Our only hope is for something or someone to adjust our steering. That potential for a moral realignment of the heart is ultimately humanity's best hope. We're more than biological machines. We exist spiritually as well, and the spiritual has powerful influence over our motives, our values, and our acceptance of what's right and wrong. Only when we believe in something or someone that transcends us can we escape our proclivity for selfishness, greed, and power, and fulfill our potential for humility and sacrificial love. For Focus on the Family, I'm Jim Daly.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's Medi-Share. Maybe you've heard switching to Medi-Share to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for Medi-Share is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medi-Share works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 855-90-BIBLE. That's 855-90-BIBLE. 855-90-BIBLE.
If you're a woman over 40, have you had your annual mammogram? Whether you're a mother, wife, sister, mentor, or friend, you're important to so many in your life. At Owensboro Health, we want to help you live a healthy life with the ones you love. Having an annual screening mammogram is one way to take good care of yourself, because you're worth it. Schedule your screening mammogram online at owensborohealth.org/mammogram.
EMB's Point to Ponder for today. A little bit about etiquette. What's the rudest thing people do in other people's homes? You go to some person's home, and what's the rudest thing that you can do? For instance, overstay your welcome. It's pretty rude. Not knowing when you've worn out your welcome. What's that old adage? Guests and fish start to turn about the same amount of time. I think it's 3 days, they say. But like the rude stuff that people do at other people's homes.
I mean, when you say rudest, I mean, I have quite the list of rude things, but I don't know about the rudest. I mean, not asking or not taking your shoes off at the door. I mean, not flushing the toilet.
See, and so many of those things like that, that one, I just would assume would be like common sense.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. But I mean,
how about touching and moving things around? Like they say, make yourself at home, and then you literally make yourself at home and move this and change this.
I mean, if I say you can get in the fridge, get in the fridge. But other than that, like,
Right.
You know.
But it doesn't mean put your
Okay.
feet on the furniture. If somebody says, "Oh, make yourself at home," they don't mean put your feet on the furniture.
Yeah.
Don't open the fridge without being asked.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm not a medicine cabinet snoop. One, I don't know. I don't think people have medicine cabinets anymore. But
that,
I'm not a medicine
back
cabinet
in the day,
snoop.
yeah.
Expecting a tour. You know, someone offers you a tour of their home, fine, but don't just expect one when you go there. Well, show me around.
That's where I'm lucky because it's like, well, here you are.
And this begins and ends the tour.
Yeah, I was like, there's not much to see. Do you really want to see a bed? Like, I'm sure you've seen plenty of them.
Bringing an uninvited +1. So at least ask ahead of time. And then hiding a mess. All right, so mistakes happen. But so two famous messes come to mind. Ross's leather pants.
Love it. One of my favorite episodes.
Ross's leather pants and the chafing and the squeaking and the powder. And then, but he uses powder and
Lotion.
Vaseline and lotion but
Phone's a friend.
But Harry, right? In Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
At Lauren Holly's.
Yes.
That's the best one of all time.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Dumb and Dumber is the absolute best making a mess at someone else's home. Mistakes happen. You might accidentally spill something. You might knock over a lamp. Tell your host immediately if it's something small, like finished roll of toilet paper or something like that. Just let them know. Don't leave surprises for them to figure out later. Don't take their hand towels.
I still wonder about that.
Last week I had a we stayed in someone's home last week, and I was hooking up something on the television. It was an Amazon Fire Stick, and the cord dropped down and hooked the stand that this decorative plate sits on. And when I went to plug it in, I noticed it spun the stand and the plate around. I thought, oh no. And I just imagine having to tell Tom, I broke your plate.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So where do I get another plate? And so that
It's a
type
really
of
big
thing.
plate.
Yeah, it was a huge plate. So that's one of those things that you shouldn't do. And then, disrespecting shoe rules on there, showing up empty-handed, etc. Yeah, and again, don't steal people's hand towels. Still don't know where ours went.
Yeah, and I have so many.
Don't we have it narrowed down to about 3 suspects?
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
No, it was not you, Sam. We can say with absolute certainty it was not you.
But I have to question the reason why.
Yeah. So I do, but I think I don't. I think I don't want to know why.
I think I don't want to know why.
Let's start calling some names out here.
What I've decided it could be, I'm just happy if I don't know.
Well, now when you're putting it that way, then I'm a little worried.
Best case scenario, this person is like, I don't want to say a klepto, but this person may collect small items from others' homes.
Like trinkets?
Yes.
Okay, that could
that
be.
is
I don't think
best
that's it.
case scenario.
Yeah, that's the best case scenario.
You're thinking somebody might have just had a little extra time in there.
I tell you what, we'll put the hypothesis of that on the last show lineup. We'll put that on there, and we'll call names, and then your recent experience in retail is last show material too.
Ooh.
All right, you got to know.
Okay.
You got to have to tell that
You think
story.
there's potential that they're tied into one another?
Well,
I think there could be a similar theme,
yeah.
but the players would be completely different, except she would be the commonality.
Oh yeah, I do get myself into some crappy situations.
Yes, you do, or others. So. Don't forget, the Twin Lakes Marching Classic is tomorrow. I think first performance is at 2:45. My guess is Anthem is about 2:15.
I think I'm trying to remember, but they have senior recognition. I believe it starts at 2.
Yeah. Okay, well, I was thinking this morning is no one's actually told me what time to be there, but I can.
Well, there you go.
I can back time it and go.
If you go back and you listen to the phenomenal conversation that I had with the Bells, we talk about the lineup in there.
I'm going to make a bold prediction that sometime today I hear from one A Bell or A Bell, and we'll get.
You're going to hear from A Bell.
I may hear from multiple Bells, but I do know that the Bells and the band are making their elementary school tours today. So that's when they go and revisit their old elementary schools where they came up. And they go, and matter of fact, saw some of the banners last night at Clarkson of kids that would be back there this morning. So they're trying to, build enthusiasm, and then they'll have the home show tomorrow.
Really good banners.
Yeah,
and then
high profile.
I did ask, one thing I did ask about is how many crock pots, and there will be a lot of crock pots for you tomorrow.
The per capita, the crock pot per capita rate
you will need
tomorrow
to take a picture.
Will be the densest. It will be Grayson County tomorrow will have the highest crock pot per capita rate easily within the Commonwealth. I'm not so sure within the entire Southeast United States.
This will also be your first trip into the new press box, right?
It will.
Uh-huh.
It will indeed.
It's nice.
Good.
They did a good job.
I'm looking forward to it.
Maybe you can.
Are you ready?
Can you leave a couple pork chop sandwiches in there for us when we come in on next Friday?
Mm-hmm. I'll tape them to the underside of the cabinet.
Oh, well, we've already got something hanging on the wall in our booth, so just hang it up there next to it.
All right. Today, I didn't tell you what's on television, but lots of baseball today.
Cougar football. That's the important thing.
Yeah. The Yankees play this afternoon, so I'll be able to do that. Then I can watch the Cougar game tonight, and then the Yankees are off tomorrow. No, Yankees play in Cleveland tomorrow. So I'll have to be I'm going to have band contests and be working professionally. I'll have UK Mississippi State on my iPad, and I'll have Yankees Guardians on my phone.
Mm-hmm. Luckily,
not all the things I love, but many of the things I love right there.
Luckily, we'll hook you up and get your Wi-Fi situated.
Oh, yeah, thank you for that. Today's highlight in history, this day, 1964, civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. was named winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. Normans under William the Conqueror defeated the English at the Battle of Hastings, this date, 1066. I remember it well. It was a partly cloudy sky, low humidity. Birthdays today. Ralph Lauren is 83. Thomas Dolby is 64. Was he ever charged with blinding people with science? Lori Petty is 59.
That one went over my head.
Lori Petty, infamous for committing the sin of crying in baseball.
Oh, okay.
Joe Girardi, speaking of baseball, 58 today. Natalie Maines is 48 today. Usher is 44, and Jay Farrow is 35. William Penn was born in 1644. Dwight David Eisenhower was born in 1890. E.E. Cummings in 1894. C. Everett Koop in 1917. Sir Roger Moore in 1927.
Nope.
He's the third best Bond.
I was going to say, and E.E. is the second best EE that has a birthday in this area of the month.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Let's chart
and it's
toppers.
Not even close.
Let's hands down. Were the Drifters? The Drifters were here in town. Were in town last week?
Last Friday. Yep.
The Drifters were number one this day.
I know we had a couple listeners get
1960. Save the last dance for me. You can dance. You can dance. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to another chart topper. Let's go to 1969. We'll move forward about 9 years from the Drifters' number one there with The Temptations. And I Can't Get Next to You. My back saw The Temptations one time.
That's right. Who did they open for?
Bruno Mars. That's right. The anniversary of the Rumble in the Jungle. Jason Thomas and I's backsides got to watch The Temptations in concert.
Concessions? Was that what it was? Or?
Yep. Well, Miss Thomas and Miss Buckles, they were over there like, can't get next to you, can't get next to you over there. Can we get some popcorn, please? Ba-da-da-da.
That move right there might be your screenshot later on the podcast.
1978, fellow Kentuckians, Exile, were number one. Wanna get home, babe? Gonna light you fire.
All day I've been thinking about you, babe. You're my one desire.
That's not the original. No. I'll play no more of that. That's a ripoff.
Uh-oh. Speaking of Missy Thomas.
1987, Whitesnake, number one. Thank you, David Coverdale. Celine Dion, It's All Coming Back to Me Now in 96. Shake It Off, Mariah Carey in 05. Followed up by Shake It Off by Taylor Swift in 2014. So there are your chart hoppers for today. All right, MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Gratitude can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here on Monday for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the Twin